flood zone. Obviously, we're on the banks of the Menominee River. There are numerous hydroelectric dams upstream from us. In the event of a dam failure, there is a siren that's activated automatically via Wisconsin Public Service, electronic monitoring of the river. That siren, I have a recording of it here on my phone. Just bear with me for a second, we'll play that.
North of what will be the north edge of the pit. So the pit will start right back here, and it will extend into that far tree line. Tom Quigley. North edge of the pit. This is actually a very important outcrop. This is an example of the rocks that host the ore body, which lies to the south of us. It's got certain minerals that are associated with ore deposits. Even though if you sample this, there's nothing of economic value. Just the textures and the mineralogy tell you that you're probably close to an ore body. As a matter of fact, they call this texture, which you can see in here, these kind of elongate fragments, they call it mill rock. If you're standing on a rock like this, you can usually look up and you'll see the mill. No, the new extensions we just found are to the southwest. Quite a bit to the southwest. Potential to expand the deposit at depth, and now we know there's potential to extend it to the southwest.
You have a lot of property on the Michigan side. Is there any purchasing of property on the Wisconsin side?
No. We have not done really any exploration on the Wisconsin side.
So the homes directly across from the mine are just there?
They're there, yeah.
Right.
All right, we're going to continue into the pit. It'll extend not up to that tree line, but just south of the road we walk along that tree line, and it'll extend quite a ways, probably about 1,000 feet into the tree line to the south. And we're about in the middle of it as far as east-west goes. It'll extend just across the river road and just into that tree line.
Is this where the pit's going to be where we're standing?
What's that?
Is this where the pit's going to be where we're standing?
Yeah, we're in the kind of in the middle of the pit. We call this a gossan. It's very gold and silver rich. It's a near surface cap to the underlying massive sulfides, which have the zinc and copper, which you can see if you look at the core display. So this is another very important part of our ore body because it is at the surface. It is very valuable. It will be mined early in the mine life, the development of this pit, providing cash flow early on and payback of capital. This particular unit is dipping off this way at about 30 degrees. It actually dips underneath the river road toward the river. We don't really know what happens to it at the river, but it appears to steepen up. The water well that brought our attention to this area was drilled at the cabin across the road. It actually hit the down dip extent of this ore body.
And nobody in the past even knew what this rock?
No, and that's remarkable because you can take a sample of this and it will have anywhere from 5 to 20 parts per million gold, which is very high grade gold ore.
How many parts per million is the ore body in this part?
This part, well, I think this averages about 8 parts per million gold and about 70 parts per million silver and a little bit of copper.
Is it blasted?
All this hard rock, well, the overburden, the sand and gravel will be stripped off and exposing the hard rock, and that'll be drilled blast holes and blasted into chunks like this. It'll be crushed and then it'll be fed into the ball mills that pulverize it to the proper size to liberate the ore minerals into a concentrate.
And how many years do you expect this to go to?
The open pit is an 8-year mine life, but there's a large potential to have an underground mine after that, because this pit goes down to the very deepest part is about 700 feet. We have ore grade intercepts down at 2,500 feet, so eventually we're going to connect them up to what's in the pit, but that's too deep to extract with an open pit. That'll be probably part of an underground mine.
Are you bringing chemicals into the mine to do part of these processes? Is that why you're
chemicals, but no, that is not really the reason behind treating it. Treating it is because if we are going to have stockpiles of rock that could generate acid drainage, but we're not allowed to let that leave the site. So that all has to be collected and treated.
What chemicals are used to process the rock?
Yeah.
The flotation process uses like a frother. It's like a soap. It's very similar to a soap. It actually creates a froth. And there's trace amounts of xanthates that render the minerals we're trying to concentrate hydrophobic. But those are only trace amounts, and that's
Cyanide,
all.
we know what to use. You're going to use cyanide to process the rock.
Cyanide is used to extract the gold, and a little teeny bit in the flotation process to depress the pyrite. But all of that will be, obviously treated. And actually recirculated, and when it is discharged, treated.
Is that still, are you still going to have cyanide in the backfill when you come back in and
No.
you have all of that?
No.
So do you, I don't know anything about cyanide. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm genuinely curious. How do you use the cyanide and then get it back out before you put this back in and then it's not contaminated anymore?
Well, that's in the gold extraction process. The gold is extracted with a dilute cyanide solution, okay, which is in the ground up rock. Then that ground up rock is filtered. So the solution containing the gold, and they precipitate the gold out, and they reuse that same solution to extract more of it. At some point, if they have to discharge that, it goes through a cyanide destruction unit.
You hunting fish, Wilkie,
No, I don't. I grew up in the Menominee River.
and you want it to be shit?
Hey, you drink the water, don't you? You buy the paper mills protesting.
You want?
Why aren't you buying the paper mills? They pollute a lot more than this mine does.
They're not gonna dump cyanide.
Why don't you go through over? When the pulp mill was in Peshtigo, they used to make that river green.
Not anymore.
This is peaceful.
They don't make it green anymore.
That around, we kind of wait till the light catches it each side of that.
So most samples don't have the gold visible.
No, it's pretty rare to find visible gold. It's microscopic.
So how long did it take to do these samples in this tray?
Well, this is actually one of the deeper holes on the project. This inner hole is down around 700 meters. So it would have taken a substantial amount of time to get down to that depth.
Which is about, what, 2,100 feet?
About 2,300 feet.
Okay. And could you tell me your name?
Eric, Quigley.
All right, thank you guys.